get ready to get this thing started once again.
All right,
Once
we
again.
face this way.
Yes, sir. We on.
Okay.
We on. We on.
We are live.
We are live.
Live.
Once again, we're here at the Man in the Mirror show, and we have a very, very special show today. This is. I mean, it's heartfelt, touching, and it's just an iconic show because we got an iconic person that we're honoring here, and this is personal to me, so I might get a little touchy on it.
Well, I think it's personal to all of us. Everybody from Old Town Alexandria.
Yeah.
This is amazing. But we're gonna do our introductions.
Yeah. So before we even get started with this special guest, we're gonna introduce the panel, the host, and we even got a special
Co-host
is on here today.
Mr. Elwood.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
First to my left, the very astute Rodney Grimes.
How you doing? Peace and blessings to you. As you always know, it's all about us just bringing you that positive information. And guess what? Man in the Mirror, what we call it? It's the
podcast, the show that matters.
It's the show that matters. Yes. And then also we have Miss Amy Cakes.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
Amy Cakes.
Good evening. Thank you guys for popping in and discussing, the contributions you made to music and to sports. So, just taking in the information before it started, really intrigued to hear more about you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we got Mr. Elwood.
Godfather of VA Go-Go.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll dive into that too. But now,
Well,
it's
hold
my
on.
honor.
No, because I didn't even introduce you, bro.
Okay.
So we got, the number one guy who, always keep the Man in the Mirror going all the time, Mr. Boo Jones. So much respect to you, bro, for, what you do, bring to the, so much, but now,
It's residual.
How about that?
But it's my honor and my privilege to announce this very, very special guest today, Mr. Lawrence Lucky Elliott.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Tell a little bit
Yes.
about yourself. Just we just talking.
You just talking? Well, hey, I'm just a native Alexandria. I was born in Alexandria, raised in the Bird neighborhood, known as the Bird, down on the waterfront, and went to Alexandria Public Schools, went to Charles Houston Elementary School, Parker Gray High School. Played basketball at Parker Gray. I was the captain of the team, and I started coaching youth at an early age. I was a teen, started coaching kids in the Bird. I've coached three school districts in Alexandria. Started off at Parker Madden in the Bird, went to Lyles Crouch, South Side, then I moved to Charles Houston, Uptown. So pretty much covered the whole black community. When I coached on the segregated program when the black teams only played black teams, and I coached when they integrated the program. So I pretty much grew with the program. I stayed with it. I like sports. I went to Northern Virginia Community College when I was working part-time and majored in recreation and park management. So everybody knows me because I've been all over Alexandria. I started working in the Charles Houston community located in Uptown area. Uptown neighborhood. So, there you have it.
And everyone, let me get this on the table first. In every urban community, we have a Lucky Elliott, right? But we got this one here, right?
Yeah.
This one here is more special than sports. It's far beyond just sports when it comes to this guy. 'Cause I know contributing to my life, and Rodney got stories, Elwood got stories, and probably a million people out there, because this been teenage, be consistent, That's one of his words. I ain't gonna take everything, but we're gonna dig into this is exclusive. This never before had anyone had a exclusive interview with Lucky.
Yeah.
Never
That's
before.
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Look, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm a straight up fan. So I'm just and I was telling the guys this before we started sitting down. There's 3 people in Alexandria that I always wanted to sit with and just ask questions. And so even before this show even started, I probably asked about 10 questions already. But
Yeah.
Lucky being one of those people who was influential in my life. I've done youth work for over 30 years, going to 40 years now, and because I grew up in the recreation department, so he was with a cohort of guys: Jackie Mason, Travis Gray, Lucky, Elliott. Many of them worked underneath him, and Jessica back in the day, and the list goes on. And so, of course, I lived in Cameron Valley and played for Stonewall Jackson. I remember times when we had to play Charles Houston. I acted like I was sick, so I didn't come to the game. And I already knew what was going to happen to us. But just I just want to tell you from my heart, man, what an honor and pleasure it is to sit with you, and the legacy that you have handed down. So many people are riding on the back of this man right here, this great man, and this. And I know it's probably hard for you to hear all of this right now. We get it, but I love what Boo says, that we honor people above the ground.
Right.
Give them their roses now.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for us to say what we need to say about you, and then to expose the legacy. The legacy continues to go on.
Yeah, because people need to know this, because the foundation of many communities, just guys like this, right? And we have a topic, and you gave a segue to the topic. You said legacy.
Yeah.
Today's topic is the importance of legacy. So we're not only just going to grill Lucky, we're going to get to the root of why it's important to have guys like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and overall, the good thing is again, as humble as Lucky is, you've never been one that walked around like you was the head honcho or nothing like that, but you always just gave this leadership. And for you to be here and us to be able to acknowledge this, and I'm talking, it's many people. It's nobody you're going to talk to in Alexandria that's not going to know his name.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's not one child, not one person, whether you was in the sports, whether any kind of way that you came up in the old town Alexandria.
Past or present.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's true. So
Yeah.
much love and respect
But,
to you.
yeah, and also if you could just add to the championships that T.C. Williams and Hammond and G.W. had,
Yes.
was attributed to the recreation system and the coaching of Lucky. So
Yes.
we give honor where honor is
It's due.
Yeah.
And we, really, I mean, I'd say another hand, just a round of applause for him.
I want you to know, we had a lot of great competition, even when I played for Charles Houston, the house of Lucky built, right? I just missed him. But we're going to get into that. I played for the guy he appointed, he anointed, right? But still, I played for his partner, Richard Williams.
Yeah.
I played for Richard. So
Probably the
that
same
was a
blueprint.
the blueprint is the same.
Yes.
Let me tell you, the blueprint we had in those days we had 85 pounds, and then we moved up to 110 pounds, the rec league, right? And Lucky gonna get to that. I'm not gonna do that. But what I was gonna say is that when you played for Charles Houston, it was a sense of pride. And we had this statue. That's what I was gonna get into. The statue had plaques on each side. It was a championship trophy, the city championship trophy. It had plaques on 4 sides, the big block, and the plaques with the names engraved on metal on each side, and the year of the champion, right? Only the champion, not the runner-up. And you see Charles Houston. Go again. Charles Houston. On every side of that trophy.
Yeah. I'm just so we can really get Lucky to just kind of I want to ask you, did you really feel like it was your responsibility, or was this just something that you did, just being who you are?
Well, when I got started, it was a hobby. It was a hobby. As I said, I grew up in the Burg. I had the field across the street, Parker Madden Playground across the street. 2 blocks from my house was a Little League Stadium, Ficklin School. Lights, the little white kids, uniforms, football, and all. My friends, all we could do is come up and look through the fence, watch
What
the
year
kids
was that?
play. This was late 50s. When the 60s, they didn't integrate to the 60s, it was
Right.
the late 50s.
Yes.
I started Charles Houston when they originally opened Charles Houston, which was the original Parker Gray High School. Parker Gray High School moved. They took the old building, named it Charles Houston, and that was the elementary school. So I started there in 1950 when they opened.
Right.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is that I went Little League Stadium, baseball field. Across the street from that was the movie theater. Come back 1 block, we had the bowling alley and the roller skating ring. We couldn't go there. The black kids couldn't go there. We could walk by them, but we couldn't go there. So we had to play sandlot ball in the courts, in the field. So, I grew up tackling people with no equipment on.
Yeah.
If the older guys let you play, they'll put you out there on the field and let you play with them. But they taught us what we learned, because we didn't have a youth league program. We didn't have anybody teaching us, like they have now, organized sports. So these guys taught us how to play football. They gave us that grit. They taught you that they're going to teach you how to catch a ball and say, we're going to throw it at your face. If you don't catch it, you're going to knock your teeth out your mouth. We learned how to play. And when we were playing tackle football, they tell you, don't let them run by you. I don't care what you do. You grab them and hold them until we get over there. So, we played football like that. And I can remember one time tackling the guy and caught a knee. Probably got a concussion that time, and I was seeing stars. I got up and they were patting me on the back. Good tackle. I didn't know where I didn't know what they just push you back up to the line. Push you back up to the line again to go play again. But those are the guys that taught me. And I passed it on. And that's where you start your legacy. That's passing on. Each one teach one.
Yes.
Right.
And so, and like I said, it was a hobby at first, and then it became competitive. The Bird, Uptown, and this was, like I said, segregated program. And then when they integrated, I want my boys to take care of business. See, because I had some baggage. I had some
You felt
baggage.
like you had a lot
These
to
pretty
prove.
uniforms, and then my kids didn't have the pretty uniform. We were playing against kids that had pretty uniforms.
Do you ever feel like the refs were against y'all at all?
That's another story.
Okay.
But I never told the kids. The only thing I would tell the kids is, if it's close, you're not gonna win.
Ooh.
If it's close, you're not gonna win.
So that's why you had to blow everybody out.
Yes, sir. If it's close, because like you said, the referees. And when
You
my
ain't leave it up
kids,
to the refs.
my kids came to the game, and one of the things they all talk about is how many kids I would carry in my car.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have parent participation.
Right.
Parents taking the kids to the games.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of a family of 10. So I know my parents didn't have time to come and see no games. So I know other kids' parents, same thing, work hard. So they didn't have parents coming to the game. The kids I coached, when I took them to the game, very seldom I seen the parent. I had to pack them all in the cars and make 2-3 trips sometimes to take them to a field.
But look, when you start winning, then you had the community come though.
Oh yeah. When you get to that point, everybody wants to see. Once you started winning, things change.
But I'm listening to you and realizing it wasn't really that far off long ago when we were limited to all these things, but yet you never exposed that to us.
Right. No, that's something.
It's the first time I heard it.
Because we didn't know.
But you don't know what you don't know, and and like you said, it hasn't been that long when you started talking about the segregated school system.
Mm-hmm.
I was like in the I was in the sixth grade. I was when they integrated the schools, and so and I'm 62. So a lot of times when you try to explain that, people don't really realize, how it wasn't that long ago. And Lucky being the individual who, with many other people, y'all was experiencing this at a whole different level than us.
Yeah, it was completely a whole different level. And that's why I was saying, I had some animosity, some baggage when my kids were playing,
So you
yeah.
it was personal.
Oh yeah. Well, when I started the coaching, I was fired. Around 68. They said I started a ride at a kid's game. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So they said, I was getting into it with the officials,
Yeah.
Okay.
So spectators got involved and the officials started running, so everybody chased them, So they wouldn't come back to the field
It's
without,
that uptown thing.
wouldn't come back to the field without the police. So
What year was that?
that was let's see, around 67, 68.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the news article.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was in the paper
I
for
need
about
that.
3 days. I
I
have the
need
news
that.
article. I still have the news article.
And
I was
But-
under Gazette.
look,
But the credit the community, they said it wasn't going to happen.
Mhm.
They had a meeting down at City Hall. The community showed up.
Okay.
They showed up. Cause see, I didn't really care if I coached or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was ready to blow up everything.
But they showed up for you.
But they showed up for me.
See that?
So then I felt obligated to be out there with the kids.
Okay.
See, that was the difference back then that we don't have now. Like they still have those city hall meetings,
Yeah.
and that's interesting.
No, this was called by the parents and the
Okay,
urban
okay.
league. They said no, we're gonna have a meeting.
Mm.
So you're not gonna fire, you're not gonna.
Right.
just
And I don't
say
know
that-
why me just a little bit, I kind of remember just something
Mhm.
back in that time. Because you always, again, you were then, whether you knew it or not, but you were a serious community leader. Your name was moved around among many people. So it was just amazing that at that time what you was dealing with, but you had the audacity to keep moving and still dealing with that drama.
Yeah.
And being a leader for us.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
special kind.
But see that Eric Napper, his
Okay.
mother,
Eric. Yeah.
is the one that organized the whole thing, and it wasn't for her, because Eric was on my team. And she,
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it was, before they fired me, they hired another coach. They brought a coach out. They fired me, so they were.
So you think
They
they
never
had it,
really-
they had it planned
they
out?
had
and
it-
they-
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So let me ask you
They
this.
hired another coach.
How did you get your coaching staff, and how did you get back? Because you evidently you got back on track because you was coaching still.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
How did you get your coaching
So did you were the one that established your coaching staff?
Yeah, your staff. And
When they tried to fire you?
It wasn't no staff. I was the staff. It wasn't no staff. I was the coach.
I mean, but later
I didn't have
on,
anybody.
later on when you
So,
got
when-
people.
When they said I wasn't fired, they just suspended me. They cleaned it up. Said,
Yeah.
You can go back and coach.
So let me ask you this: so so back then you could actually work for the rec department and also coach, so it was a part of the same. Because I know now it's somewhat different.
Oh no, I wasn't. No, what happened? See, when they first started the youth sports program, they were the paid coach.
Okay.
They were the paid coach. Then they stopped paying coaches.
Okay.
And I guess they thought they weren't going to have getting any blacks to be out there if they were
Right.
paying. So then they started volunteering.
Okay.
But the coaches stayed out there. You had guys like Wilbur Moore and stuff that on the south side.
Yeah.
Ronnie Jennings out Corker. So these guys really
You
liked
took
what
away-
doing what they were doing. Everybody enjoyed doing what they're doing.
Right.
They're working with the kids and stuff. So
Right.
So when you started establishing Charles Houston as, in the beginning, who was your greatest competition of the other ranks?
Charles Houston.
Who?
What that? What? See, you're talking about a long period of time, but you know, 'cause it changed over the years. 'Cause, you know, you had the Mount Vernon, which was predominantly white at the time. Mount
Right.
Vernon won the championship about 3-4 years in a row.
Didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah, they were all white kids out there. you
And
know.
how fair was it?
And when you looked at their kids and you looked at ours, it was like this.
So
They were looking down at their kids
Yeah.
and everybody there, who's weighing these kids in, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Who's
Wait,
got the finger on the scale here? What's going on, you know?
Yeah.
so this is why I want to tell my story here just for a second.
Oh.
So I'm glad he said that, because when I came out to play for Lucky, which if you wanted to be recognized in the neighborhood and looked upon as like one of the tough guys or whatever, you needed to go play for Lucky.
Yeah.
You need to play football with Lucky.
Charles Houston.
Charles Houston.
Yeah.
So I did just that, and I'm glad he said that, because we was playing. I think it was Maury. We was over there. It was all white boys, and I never forget. This white boy was so much bigger than me, and I was playing defense. I was playing like defensive tackle or something like that, and he was like saying, "I'm going to break your back" or whatever, and he hit me so hard that when the play was over, I got up and walked home. Now, let me tell you.
You took the helmet? Did you take the?
I took all the equipment home. I just went on and walked. But I gotta say this. This is so funny though, because of the leadership that I got from you. I was embarrassed. It took many years for me to be able to want to be in his presence, because Lucky instilled something in us, was like with pride. We don't run. We go in there and handle our business. You always made us stand up, and you never. I can't remember you pampering nobody. You always gave us a sense of, yo, handle your business, do it this way, get it done, and don't back down. And that's what I got from him. And when I walked away that day, I was totally embarrassed for many years when I was in his presence. And I say this because that was the impact that you had on so many of us. You always gave us so much to you brought stuff out of us, and I'm talking about, we wasn't even getting this at home, but you brought that out on the field. That's why you were responsible for so many young guys in y'all ones, and I have to say y'all because I never did go back to the team. But
that was it.
that was it for me.
That was
Yo,
it.
but
How long were you in?
what did I play?
You played.
I might have made maybe 2 or 3 games, but when that boy hit me that day, but see, what Lucky just said was, it was a big difference in our sizes.
Yeah,
Now,
it
but that's still that wasn't no excuse.
Right.
We ain't care about that.
Yeah, but all I'm just trying to tell you, it wasn't even so much. My point I want to make is what you still instilled in us as an individual, because it wasn't just on the field.
Yeah.
It wasn't just on the field.
It helped you later on when you went to the service.
Man, I joined the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I went to the United States Marine Corps, honorably discharged, served, and let me tell you something. You never knew that I carried a lot of what you instilled in me at that little bit of time. I then didn't want to quit nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I felt like, and I don't know if he ever really used to see me and say, "There, that little crybaby." But I just want to tell you, you was a big inspiration from that time in my life and on.
Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that you have influenced so many people? I mean, I know you're humble. I know it's hard to kind of take some of this in, but when you think about it, all the people that you have influenced, like what goes on in your mind around that?
Well,
question?
The guy, I went to the Alexander City Public Schools Hall of Fame program a couple weeks ago. And one of the guys told me, "Oh, you coming to see you guys? Some of your guys get an award." The T.C. Williams, 28-0 state championship team.
Yeah, yeah,
4 of those kids on that team,
yeah,
I coached them for years.
yeah,
2 of them were starters.
yeah.
They were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I'm against the 4.
You get the 4 of them.
Craig Harris, Lil Willie.
No,
Lil Willie wasn't.
no,
Really? Because I saw him
he
down
wasn't
there.
inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, no, oh, you mean the Hall of Fame? I'm sorry.
They were inducted into the Hall of Fame. The state basketball team, the whole team was inducted. Lil
Right.
Willie's played, but 4 of those guys
Carl
on
Turner
the
was
team.
one. Was called one?
Not on that team. That's
No,
No,
talking about the 28-0 team. Is that
the
what-
28-0 state
Yeah,
champions.
yeah.
4 of the players I coached:
Roach.
Michael Nelson,
That's right, Mike.
Willie Miller, Lawrence Miller,
Okay.
Boo Richardson,
Boo Rich, I knew Boo. 'Cause
and
you-
Craig Harris.
And Craig, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
4 of
I'm-
those guys.
I
Now
was gonna say boo. Yeah.
these guys started like 8, 9 years old.
Right,
They played until they were about 14.
right,
So every year they were with me for basketball.
right.
Okay. When I looked at the T.C. Williams Hall of Fame,
Right.
8 inductees, I coached them.
Wow.
Carl Turner winning this year, Barry Mountain winning this year.
Yeah.
8,
Yeah. Wow.
and with Marvin Elliott, Bishop Ijan Hall of
Yeah.
Fame,
Yeah.
I have 9 kids
Yeah, 9
that played in the Hall of Fame.
And Marvin,
You should actually should have had more.
Well, McAdoo's not there yet, but it's
It's
but
coming.
it's coming.
Yeah.
So right now I have 9, and I
Yeah.
feel good about that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I had
That's
2 that were selected to play against the United States All-Stars in the McDonald Capital
Craig
Classic.
and Carl Jackson.
Second leading scorer in the state of Virginia. Carl
Now,
Jackson.
also, when Craig played, another tidbit that a lot of people don't know, when Craig played in the Capital Classic, he played against Magic Johnson,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And Craig was the MVP.
Yep. For the. Yep. Yep.
So, I look at some of the guys,
That's big.
Yep.
and I feel good about it when I see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when I look at see the pictures of them when they were kids, it makes me feel good. I
What-
feel good about it.
What did you want to instill in these kids when you were coaching them?
I just wanted the kids to have some of the things that I didn't have. I wanted them to have some opportunities, and I wanted them to be good individuals, to finish school. And I had guys, I think you mentioned it a few minutes ago, about the drug epidemic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that I co-founded an organization called We Care.
Yeah.
And we pressed the city. I led the first anti-drug march through the city of Alexandria. Make the newspaper articles on it.
Right.
And I did it for several years. And for the city to start intervention program, education, and treatment programs for
Yeah.
kids.
Instead of just locking them up.
Yeah, and
Man.
so, I was involved in that, and like you said, I've had guys tell me that if they hadn't been through this system with Charles Houston and the conditioning, because I emphasize conditioning because I didn't want the kids to get hurt. So I put a lot of attention on having my kids go the distance. So my kids didn't get tired in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Right.
Football and basketball, they didn't get tired.
Yeah.
And very seldom did they get hurt because they were in top physical condition. But that carried on into adult life when they got addicted to substance abuse or something.
Yeah.
And I've heard, guys say, man, got locked up.
Yeah.
And, you better, you gotta be in there doing push-ups or something gonna happen to you if you're in
Yeah,
the lockdown.
right,
yeah.
And because they'd already been conditioned,
Yeah.
they know how to
Yeah.
condition themselves,
Yeah.
that they worked out
Yeah.
to take care of themselves in the lockup.
Yeah.
But it also helped them to combat the substance abuse.
And
So I feel good about that when they tell me things like that I ran them hard and I conditioned them hard, but that stayed with them.
Right.
And one of the
they make-
things, I'm a 2-time champion with Charles Houston, 100 grand. And like I was saying before, then I didn't play. Lucky had just retired from the coaching part, and we're gonna get into that. He brought in the coach to coach me, and the guy who coached with him stayed on in the same position. But it was more than a physical condition; it was a mental condition that we had a mindset that installed. That Lucky then and his followers, his staff, that they installed in us. And I want you to talk about that, the middle part.
Well, see, the kids, they just adopted that. Like we said, you pass it down, and so each group of kids, they try to be better than the next team.
Mm-hmm.
So your team was undefeated. My team, our team, was unscored on.
Right.
So each team wanted to be better than,
I was on the team that was undefeated.
we were undefeated and unscored on. So each year the team tried to get better.
We played against Legacy.
But one of the things also, and I don't know if you may think about it, but you set the tone for other individuals. I'm talking about in the recreation center, because of the legacy and the respect that we have for you, that these other guys, they had to treat us a certain way, because you didn't tolerate no disrespect.
Yeah.
That's something I've never seen not one person get out of line, and you had this
That's a good point.
right.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. That's good.
You weren't that type of man that we wasn't going to talk back to you. We wasn't going to be out there crying and all that. You gave us a sense of a stand up, handle your business, and so you set the tone for other people, and they had to mimic you. They had to mimic you because all the kids respected Lucky Elliott.
Yeah, I call it reverence. They had a certain kind of, not fear, terror, but a certain kind of.
Yes.
Right.
That's a good word.
Yeah, and by the way, look, I didn't, I hung out down in Charles Houston, but obviously I didn't play for you. But even walking into the rec center, and of course I worked for the rec center, so I would go to all the rec centers. I knew all the guys, but there was something about you that you garnered respect.
Yes.
Without having to push it.
Yes.
Like you wasn't boisterous about it. You wasn't like you weren't trying to be King Kong. You just was King Kong.
Yes.
So my question about that though is how did that happen? Like what is that? What that's a different kind of I don't even know words to even. I don't have words to put to that.
Especially for you to come up in the time that you did.
Yeah.
I would almost say that, like what he said, because you didn't have a lot of things, so you tried to give it to us, and that alone was how you carried it all the time.
So look, I don't know. He asked a question just now, but
Well,
what was that?
Well, it stays with me. Of all the kids I've ever coached, I've had 2 kids disrespect me when they got older. They're like in the teens, and different incidents or whatever.
Right.
My curse back or whatever, or one fight and I couldn't control or whatever. But I talked to them and then I stared them down. They left, but both incidents, they came back and apologized.
Yeah.
One even had a letter. I said, who wrote this letter? His girlfriend wrote the letter for him. But I say that to say, when they come back, I said, no, you acted up in front of everybody, so you wanna apologize. I'm gonna call the gym. I'm gonna blow the whistle in the gym, and everybody can come to the gym, and you can say what you want to say to me in front of everybody.
Accountability.
So now if you want to apologize, you do it in front of an audience, in front of everybody.
Say it again.
Accountability.
So
and we don't have
and to this day they're the closest kids that
Okay.
They still have
that principle right there. That epitomizes what I've been talking about. Them principles that you had and installed in us. Amy just said accountability, because these days that's like rare. It's rare that they will go on Facebook and disrespect a man or a woman on Facebook, and then they don't want to come on Facebook and say, "Hey, look, I was wrong what I said to that woman or that man." They won't do it, and it's not installed. So the importance of legacy, to get back to the topic, the importance of passing it on with like you said, passing on those values. Our value systems, it came from guys like this. You know what I'm saying? Lucky grew up with my mom and them. you know, my mom and my dad and all them, they all grew up in the same era. You know, Lucky probably didn't know this. William Ledbetter is my dad.
Okay.
Worked for the city. That's my dad. Shirley Jones, Chucky Jones' sister.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, Chucky was being with Craig. He was
That's
just
my
about
uncle.
8 or 9 years old
That's my
when
uncle.
they came up to the program. You know.
That's my
as
uncle,
kids,
man.
you know.
Tommy
So-
Thompson's my first cousin.
These
So,
guys.
you know, these guys, all us played for Charles Houston.
Yeah.
And that's something about Alexandria itself again. I'm talking that whether it was the Bird, Cameron Valley, the whole South Side, we had this.
Westfield.
Yeah, we were still family,
Yeah.
and it was.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
we was family. So it was individuals, and we it's good that we have you sitting here for us to acknowledge that, because we have some of them that we didn't get a chance to do that, but it was other gentlemen who set the tone, and some women too, that set the tone for us
No doubt.
outside of our homes, right?
Yeah.
Which was real powerful.
Yeah.
You know, she mentioned accountability and stuff, and so when I started to go into the recreation center, they had the guy there named Jerome Butterford and Bubba Ellis, Oliver Ellis, heck of an athlete, everybody doing it all around the metropolitan area. And so I remember they were really strict, no nonsense. And you know, I can remember one time they said, okay, well, you can go on home, put you out the rec center, and say, I'll see you next week. I learned that from, I said, wait a minute. You out the rec center for a week, then you can't even come in, it's cold, especially if it's winter.
Yeah.
Now, all your friends inside the building, this is the only game in town. It's the rec center, or you gotta go back home. You know, and the weekend coming Friday, Saturday, the dances, and all the girls in the rec
Yeah,
center,
yeah.
you gotta stand outside in the cold. You gotta hang out until everybody come out.
Yeah.
So I learned that from them. So when I used to tell the guys, you know, put you out this rec center, you'd be outside for a while.
Yeah.
So that worked. That straightened
Yeah.
up a lot of
Yeah.
people. That think about it, you'll be
Yeah.
outside, you know, you gotta pay consequences,
Yeah,
you know, for
yeah,
your
yeah.
actions.
Yeah.
Accountability.
You know, I want to just, so this is where, for me, the influence that you had on me, people like you, Jackie Mason, Travis Gray, Jessica, I can't remember Jessica, speaking of female, she was an incredible, strong woman, worked at Court Kelly. I just remember how y'all managed the rec center. So, you know, I remember, like, you would never let people sit on the pool table. They couldn't break the pool, you know, the tips of the pool. Right, like stuff that you let go. And so people would let that go now. You know, you
Yeah.
can just sit on the
Yeah.
pool table,
Yeah.
whatever case might be. But y'all showed me coming up through the rec center, because I worked for the recreation center for about maybe 10 years before I moved out of the area. So I grew up working under guys. You're the only person out of all of them that I never worked for, which, by the way, all of them, you know, I never got a chance to work down at Charles Houston, but I worked at pretty much every other rec center. And, but it was all the same. Like, the reason that I worked with young people is because I saw the model of what y'all did and how, and the discipline, because discipline is important, because if the kids take control of the rec center,
Yeah,
it's a wash, it's done.
Hey, Elwood, stop talking about me. Because at work they call me nice things like hot and police, and that was nothing that was said about me coming up. I've never been on nobody's paperwork. But, but what I'm saying is because I picked up this model from people like Lucky and them.
Yeah, no doubt.
That I understand that it pays off later. Like, hate me now, love me later. And that's the motto. Because, hey, look, Lucky run. Lucky installed in, we're going to talk about bail, that Lucky put in his position when he left Charles Houston. I paid for bail.
Yeah.
And Lucky installed in Richard and Bill and them guys like, you know, that, man, look, if we miss a tackle, we run.
Yeah.
Don't even come over to the huddle.
Yeah.
We hit the track, and back then the track was made of gravel, but we
Right.
practiced at Parker Gray.
Yeah.
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 And we hit the track, and
Yeah.
it was known. You know it.
Yeah.
When you miss that tackle,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
or you jump off sides.
Yeah.
You just might as well go in and run. Don't even,
Yep.
don't even, and it was automatic. All these things was automatic.
Yeah.
You don't know why? Like you said it before we started the show,
Yeah.
the consistency.
Yeah, and I call it work ethic too.
Yeah,
I call it work
That's
ethic.
what it is. You know?
And also what y'all taught us was responsibility. Because I remember where I would have to close the rec center up. I don't even know if I was supposed to be doing this, but I was assistant in Cameron Valley, and so they gave me the keys to close things down. You know what I mean? And so if I left a side door open, then I get called out, right? Right? So all of these lessons that y'all gave us the opportunity to learn that helped us in our career and just to go on in life. And so, like, I think it's important for you to know that it's not just sports, but you showed us work ethic, responsibility,
Yes.
accountability, respect.
Respect is very important.
Yeah, and we played around, mess with with the opposite sex, playing, but if we were out of line, you don't talk to her like that. You see what I'm saying?
That's when morals come in.
Exactly.
It's
What's right, what's wrong.
Right.
This is funny, and I'm thinking, Lucky, again, do you sit down sometime and really, really understand the impact that you had on so many people?
Well, as I said before, I look around and I see good people. Like, talk about guys that didn't stay in the sports, but, went on with their lives, and productive lives, and not in any trouble or anything, and just good people, just good people, So I feel good about that when I see them, and, I saw some guys fall by the wayside, caught up in drugs, of crime or other vice and stuff like that. But they're few in the minority.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of successful stories out there, and I'm just blessed to be around to see these guys,
But look, I played for Bill. I want to dive into that before we really get on that. How did you get Bill when you retired from coaching Charles Houston? What made you choose Bill, and why did you put him in your position and keep Richard there? And the position that Richard was so great at?
Well, I can't say that I put him in any position. That was two guys that had similar personalities and pretty much laid back kind of personality. Now, when I'm coaching, I'm adamant. When I'm coaching. I tell the guys, we practice like we play.
Yes.
So we come out, it's not in the messing around. We practicing just like we're gonna play a game.
Yeah.
So when they get there, they know we strictly business. I had a guy looking for me one day, came to my practice. And he spent, I don't know how long, he said a half an hour. If he pulled in, got out, walking around, he saw the kids. He watching the kids, and they were all in formation, doing the calisthenics and everything, doing different drills and stuff. So he said, I had to be somewhere. He wasn't trying to school doors and everything. And I finally drove up. He was shocked that I had about 20 or 30 kids on the field, and they were going through their, the routine.
Yeah.
Nobody was there. No adult there with
Hey,
them.
y'all hear that? Hold up. Y'all hear that?
No adult.
This Charles
with them.
Houston we talking about.
No adult with them, and he wondered,
This man.
how did you do that? To have that kind of influence.
Many days we did.
Well, they knew what they were supposed to do. And
Many-
I would tell them, if I'm
many
not there,
days.
You know
this
what
is
to
what.
get.
And so they had automatic. When you have a group like that, you have people that automatic step up as leaders.
Yeah.
They form their own leaders.
Yeah.
And these guys said, hey, we doing this, and not messing around.
Yeah.
And
So if we could we can get some viewership. We got some people on here. But if I call out some names,
Uh-oh.
if I call out some names, can we just get like a one word statement about that player that you
Okay.
had? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
okay.
say?
That's okay.
All right, cause you had the best of the best. So I'm gonna call out some names. So McAdoo.
McAdoo, he's the best. He's
The
really
best.
the best. He's
Wow.
the best.
He's the best.
He's the best. He's
Wow.
the best.
Wow.
I think
didn't
I
expect
think
that.
he went like 9 games one time, 40 points a game.
Wow.
Like 9 games in a row, scoring something like 40 points or something.
Wow.
You know, and
Wow.
he's a destined Hall of Famer.
Okay.
There's no way they're gonna keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
Wow. Wow.
You know.
Craig Harris.
Craig Harris, he's in the class of his own for a little guy. You know, I don't know what one word I can say for class. He's a gem. I mean, you know, this guy played in the Capital Classic. He's
Yeah.
on the state basketball team. He's a star.
Yeah.
He's a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl Turner. Or did you coach Daryl?
No.
You coached Call.
Carl is the beast. He's the monster.
He's the
I
monster.
think I think he would have went a long way. I think he might have had that knee injury,
Yeah.
but he was a heck of a running back.
Okay.
Okay.
Heck of a running back. Matter of fact, he played football and basketball. So
Right, he did.
I don't know what I could come up with one word for him, but
Yeah.
yeah. But
Tremendous
he's-
athlete.
Yeah, he's tremendous.
If you were to just, and I know you don't like naming just, but like just if I say athletic, one of the most athletic.
One of the most athletic.
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier, if I had to go in the foxhole,
Come on,
it'd be Danny Copeland.
blue boy,
Blue boy.
blue boy.
If I had to go in the
Wow,
foxhole,
that's my
I'm
man.
taking Danny Copeland with me.
My
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's amazing.
People just don't know.
Just don't know.
Cold Beach.
So
No.
I mean, for you, I'm not really surprised, but I am. So, what was it about Danny that was so unique?
Oh my goodness.
Danny had a sense of what was going on the field, on the basketball court. He was quick, and he was fast.
And smart.
He was smart, but he didn't feel no pain.
Yeah,
I mean, he could hit.
Yeah.
He could hit and he could run the ball. He could play on both sides of the ball.
yeah,
At a high level.
Defense
And
and offense.
At a high level, right?
At a high level.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
Danny
a great,
Copeland.
that's
to
a
me,
great compliment right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's a great
Danny
compliment.
Copeland is the truth.
Yeah. Wow.
That's just amazing. Again, what you have given to so many people, and it still rides, and we walk with it today. It's just phenomenal, and I just wish we had so many more individuals like you today. We try, we do our part, but that's when we the chip off the shoulder, because it's the things that y'all showed us. I'm talking many of you, even with myself, when I was in the military and I had to do some things. This is what I got from home. This is and I'm not. This is another show, but I'm saying nobody knew what was going on in my household, so I got a lot of it outside, and it was men like you, Mr. Travis, Mr. Ford. I'm talking these gentlemen who really kind of gave me that how to be a man. You established that with us, and it wasn't something that you talked about. You showed us. You led by example, and even today when we had you had the event up at the Fort Park.
Oh, the tribute,
yeah.
the reunion tribute.
It just I was watching. My wife was just amazed, and she was like, I said, he's a legend. I mean, here we 40 and 50 years old, but when Lucky spoke, we listened.
Let me tell you something amazing happened before that, Lucky. You don't know how much it meant to me personally. Before we went to the Charles Houston thing, I got a call. Lucky called me and said, "Hey, boo, you know who I am. I ain't never played with Lucky now. Come on now. Hey, boo." I said, "What's up?" He said, you make sure you come on out to the thing. I said, man, I got my ticket first.
Yeah.
And remember they called? And I told him, I said, man, this means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask him what made fashion him that way. I believe it's the creator.
Yeah.
I believe that's how he made him, right? And he dripped some of that on people like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know for a fact that I was taught under the tutors of Lucky Elliott, even though I ain't played for him.
Right.
His blueprint was on everything we did, and I was a linebacker my last year I played, and I was a leader, and they put me in that role, just like Lucky did for countless people. And I remember that we did exactly the same thing with Bell and them. They would not come on purpose sometime early. I know now because I talked to Bell and Richard before. They said we would not just to see how y'all would do. They learned that from him,
Yeah.
even without him telling them that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we would, as the linebacker and Chubby Jackson and all of us, we would organize everybody to do our calisthenics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Well,
just,
you know, as I said, you know, I stand on shoulders, you know,
come on, man.
some other people too, you know, because I can remember when I first was introduced to going to play basketball in the recreation center. It was one man, Morris Cyber, that worked part-time in the rec center, and he was teaching us how to play basketball. So he opened up the Pendleton Street Center.
Okay.
I used to
So
go there.
we might have 40 guys, kids, you know, that want to play basketball.
Right.
So the phone would ring, and he had us in formation like the military. He would go answer the telephone and go talk on the phone, and you better be right there where he left you when he came back.
Mhm.
That's why he said, "Me, I'll be back." This is where you stayed, right here, like you in detention.
Right.
That's where you stand in the detention. You
Right.
know, you go back in,
Right.
then he started drills again. And I learned that early on, that you could keep control of a large number of people
Yeah.
if they respect you.
If they respect
and and they have to respect and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so those little things I picked up along the way, you know.
Yeah.
And I can remember the adults in the community, and especially as I mentioned earlier, how they defended me and wanted me to stay out of coaching. I had just really started coaching, really, up in the Charles Houston area. I had already coached in 2 other school districts. So I was selected, and I was the youngest person to be on the CAT team, the Community Action Team, which is the forerunner to the Police Community Relationship Team.
Okay. Okay.
And so, you know, and I, you know, they gave me the card, and I worked under 2 police chiefs for several years.
Okay.
And I was the youngest one, and the group was able, you know, community leaders,
Yeah.
about 6, 7, or whatever it was, were supposed to be able to, you know, intervene
Right.
with the police in the community,
Right.
you know, if a riot or something's coming up, or
So
a
it's
team.
more or less like conflict resolution before it gets to.
Now you on the hot seat. If something is happening in the street, you can intervene with the police. If a police got a kid out there, a group of kids, and something's going on, you could intervene. It was the front runner before the police community relations.
Right.
These were the people in
Right.
the community.
To help them,
And
stopping them
to
from
stopping them from going to
treatment,
jail or
yeah,
getting them out of
yeah,
jail, and raising money to get people out of jail.
Yeah.
So, you know. So I learned a lot of being with these adults and listening and talk and just being in that kind of environment and being able to help, you know, being and wanting to help people, seeing how, you know, there were people in the community that wanted to help young people, young adults and teens and so forth, you know.
Right.
So that motivated me also.
Let me ask you this. When you had the football team, you didn't have a lot of funds to work with. How did you come across with getting equipment?
Well, if you let the guys tell you, they did everything from Salvation Army, they begged, borrowed, and doing everything they could to get equipment. Now the city issued you uniforms and equipment. You got one set of equipment, but two teams had to use the same equipment and uniform.
80 pound.
So you would have a 80-pound game, and right after the 80-pound game, you'd have a 100-pound game. So these guys would take off the equipment.
I remember.
You remember?
Yes.
You had to take off, and it'd be 2 or 3 guys might split the equipment. He might
Yeah.
get the pants, he might get the
Yeah.
helmet,
Wow.
he
I
get the
remember
shoulder
that.
pads.
Yes, that's right.
And if it was dirty, it was
But-
dirty. If it was muddy, it was muddy.
Muddy.
Whatever. Wet, go ahead.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't have, you know, I remember
And
setting
to
up
the
a scrimmage.
Kiwanis-
I
to the
remember
Kiwanis
setting
too.
up a scrimmage with a team, and they came with two. There was 2 teams. They would bring. Both teams were in uniforms, and when the first team, they saw us changing equipment and putting on the other kids putting on equipment. They were running around putting on equipment, and they stopped. They were amazed at what was going on. That they were sharing equipment like that. You know.
But you walk away a winner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just delve into that because the people we talking because we know, but the viewers don't know
No.
this.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. We talked about the trophy and all that, but you gotta understand the legacy of this man when it comes to that football thing. That basketball, Lucky don't want a lot of championships in basketball, but most of us in Alexander, we know that Charleston football team, you know, was the pinnacle of greatness, right? That football team them kids was disciplined, like we talked about earlier. Those kids paid attention to detail. They were relentless, because one thing that they did, and Bill talks about it all the time too, they taught us how to face our fears. That's one thing y'all did for us. Like,
Yeah.
Not only just other stuff we talked about, but to face our fears, because that nutcracker was mean. That nutcracker. Look, he separated man from boys, didn't it?
Yeah, that was
Well, you
Tell us what the nutcracker was, Luck.
well, it's just a one-on-one tackling drill, you know.
Yeah.
And so everybody, you know, and another coach, and you have a lot of people that want to be coaches. You know, yeah, the guys say they can do that. They think it's easy. It's coaching. It's no big deal. And this other coach, he heard the terminology. We button heads today. That was a drill. They call it when the guys are going to the scrimmage. You know, they call it button heads.
Okay.
Another coach literally had the kids button heads. So one kid, they missed, and he caught the helmet into the kid's shoulder pad, broke the collarbone or something like that. This was from another team. And after the kid, you know, the word got out, and the kid told him it was supposed to be button heads like Charles Houston button heads, you know. And the coach thought that's what they meant, button heads, literally button heads. But that's just a term for, you know, the physical contact. You know, you're scrimmaging,
Right.
you know. And so everybody, you know, that goes out to coach. And I was glad I got involved in the National Youth Sports Coaches Association, where I went to, you know, down to Florida and took the classes and all this to train. I've trained and certified over 100 coaches. And through books and videos, they had to go through the class to pass the class to be certified as a coach. Everybody, it's not that easy coaching something you don't know about. You know, like I always tell, I've seen guys coach, and I would tell him, have you ever been hit? If you've never been hit, how do you know what that kid is feeling?
Right.
You know, you got this kid, so unless you know, you walked in their steel shoes, then, you know, you just can't go out there and tell a kid run into somebody 100 miles an hour, you know.
Right.
So you have to know what you're doing. And I'm so glad that I was able to learn. I learned from everybody. I took classes, I read books, I went to clinics, I did everything I had to do in both sports to be at the top of the game and to, you know, get that knowledge to the kids, to the guys I coach.
Quick question. So as far as basketball, football, the child got injured. How did y'all handle that? Because I know now you have insurance, liability insurance for your for your kids,
Yeah.
their waivers,
Yeah.
and
Back then.
and the child didn't have health insurance, like, you know, and they seriously hurt, like, how did the,
All that's out the window.
wow.
And none of that, you know, you get hurt, you know, that was it.
Arm
You-
pain,
you
go
know,
home,
you
just,
just, you know,
Yo.
you can't get hurt. And that's why I always made sure my kids were really physically fit.
Right.
I think I may have had one kid that I remember getting hurt in the practice, you know, and that was because of the drill that I was doing, and it was a passing and the defensive drill when these guys were hitters. And some of the kids I had playing with me, I wouldn't want them to hit me. Like some of the 100-pound kids I had playing, no way. And I felt sorry for some of the kids they were hitting in some of those games.
Give us one couple names of hard hitters.
There was a kid named Rodney McNeil.
Oh,
Of the McNeil brothers?
that's Boobie brother.
Yeah.
Rodney McNeil
Ronnie?
wouldn't want him to hit me.
Yeah.
That's I just talked to him.
You did?
Yeah. I
That's
just talked
my man
to him.
Boobie brother.
I just
A
talked to
guy
him
named Mark
yesterday.
Johnson, they
Mark-
call him Mapo.
Yes.
Oh, Maple,
Yeah,
yeah,
Maple.
yeah, Maple.
Wouldn't want
You,
him to hit
Maple
me.
lived, you, west over, down west over,
No,
right?
no, he lived in John Roberts.
I meant to say John Roberts.
right?
John
Yeah,
Roberts. That's what I meant to say, yeah.
John Roberts.
Yeah,
Those
John
are the
Roberts.
kids that will hit you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Maple.
then you mentioned Paul mentioned Danny.
Oh yeah, the
Now-
Danny's is another class.
Now, okay. Let me ask him this, because see, when he stopped coaching, we still had some great teams. So, out of the people you never personally coached that you know of, give me three. I ain't take it.
Well,
Give
let
me
me,
three.
before we go, well, you say that question.
Okay.
Now, you know, I named Danny Copeland,
Right.
but if I had to pick another player that we had to fight so with,
Yeah.
I didn't want to throw his name out there. Marvin Elliott.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mama, bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's your nephew, ain't it?
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
And see, one thing I want y'all to
He's
know,
in the Hall of Fame at Bishop Island High School.
Yeah.
and I want y'all to know this, Marvin,
Basketball and football.
Yeah.
he's not saying this because Marvin his nephew.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I know.
Marvin's a
I
bad
too.
boy.
I
Marvin's a
remember
bad boy.
Yeah.
Wait, you know, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if he you know,
No.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lightning
Yeah.
quick.
You know, and Boone tried to get him recruited at TC.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think
with
Marvin-
Sharp. He
Marvin would have played with
That
Sharp.
was a hell of a back.
He would
Yep.
have played with Sharp.
He wanted a big
Oh,
back
my
and a
God.
little back.
That would have been a hell of a back.
because I think that scene, because they were in the same class. That would have been a nice one right there.
Yes.
Real nice.
Yeah.
It's almost funny, and I'm the type man. My mind is just over here going, but nobody would really believe the talent that was in
come on.
Alexandria.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And I'm talking these guys, and it just even for because I just talked to Ronnie, and I can't wait to tell him that you brought his name up.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about with the talent that was just within in the city itself.
Hey, Rodney, I want to make sure I got the right McNeil. So Rodney and they were
And Booby and Ricky.
okay.
Yeah.
Ricky
Yeah.
McNeil.
Ricky
Ricky the
the
oldest.
Right, the oldest.
Older
than
than
the
young.
others.
Yeah.
Because the younger ones was me.
Yeah.
Booby was
Booby
big
played
too.
with me.
Booby, yeah.
Booby
Yeah.
played with me.
Booby was-
But I'm
he
He
was
won
talking about Rodney
MVP of
McNeil
the league one year.
the twins, Rodney, right? That played in '80.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
They're related. I don't know. Are they brothers or they cousins?
They must be cousins.
Yeah.
But because
They were monsters, man.
they was the twins. They used to live off of Buchanan Street or Princess Street.
Yeah, I
down
was
there.
wondering if those. It must have been either their cousin or their older brother.
No.
Ron?
McNeil's.
It's
Yeah,
only
they're
three.
McNeil's. Yeah.
It was a McNeil that played with me that lived on Buchanan Street.
Okay.
But he wasn't a twin.
No. It would have been. What year was that? What year would he have came out? Because he was older than the guys I'm talking about. McNeil brothers, they came out like in '83. They was rare with you, '84.
But no, Booby played with me on the same team.
Yeah, but
Right.
y'all the same age.
Booby won.
80
Booby
what?
won the MVP on the team as a fullback. The year he played with me.
Right.
But Rodney is older. He's talking about Rodney. He didn't coach Booby. He
Right.
coached Rodney.
Right.
Right. Did you coach Sharp?
No.
You didn't coach Sharp. Okay.
Kenny.
You coached Kenny Sharp. Okay. Did you coach Sam Butler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the Butlers.
All the brothers, okay.
You didn't coach Greg, though.
Yeah, Greg was on the basketball team.
Okay, but I'm talking about football.
No,
I'm
not
thinking
football.
So speaking on basketball, I mean, what did you was more into the football or the basketball? Or did it matter?
I don't think it mattered. I like both of the sports.
Well, you coached Booby then for that. Booby on basketball, then you, the younger McNeil. You had to coach him on basketball. You coached Eric Galloway and all them, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's-
you know, it's kind of a different atmosphere. It's different atmosphere in football and basketball. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, it's more action. It's more action in football. You know, when you get the offense and the defense team and stuff like that.
Do you feel like you have to strategize more?
Yeah, it's more strategy. And
Yeah.
now with basketball, like I said, I had kids. I coached 3 basketball teams a season, and I understand other guys talking about coaching the team. They coaching 1, but I coached 3 teams:
Right.
10 and under, 12 and 14 under,
Same
and
year.
they don't same season.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Same season,
Man.
10, 12, 14 under.
Yeah.
And people
Right.
don't realize that when you have kids start at 8 years old on your 10 and under team,
Yeah.
and he don't leave you until he's 14.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so you think in terms. I started coaching these kids in like August, maybe, you know, football season started. Some of them try to get me out to the end of July, but you think about it, from August
Yeah.
through March,
Right.
they're with me.
Yeah.
Football season in the middle of November. You start basketball practice in November, getting it ready for the Christmas tournament.
Right.
Then you going through to March
Yeah.
with basketball season. So I'm with them guys almost 9
Yeah.
months a year
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
I did it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
see,
amazing.
people don't, and you heard guys talking about coaching one team, and I was coaching 2 football teams and
Yeah.
3 basketballs for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why you think they're not coming out as much now?
Yeah. I kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the guys didn't have a whole lot of stuff going on there. Everybody's got the iPads and the phones
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff to stand in the house playing the games.
Right.
You know, the games on video games and so forth. And
Yeah.
but at the time, the kids, they had each other.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
the camaraderie and the friendships that they established. If
Yeah.
they were with me 9 months, they were the same guys.
Yeah.
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 So that's why these guys grew up together. You know,
And we was family.
Yeah, you know, guys were close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, on that note right there, Boo. How? And this is a hard question. So if you would compare the heart and the hardness of kids back in that day compared to now, because like for instance, you were talking about this head-on-head helmet drill.
Now,
You-
I didn't do the
No, I'm not saying you did it, but I'm saying
Somebody
that's what they thought,
misunderstood
yeah.
the terminology.
okay, got you. But would you say that the kids? I don't want to put it out like they soft, but I'm just saying, is it a different just generation now compared to? How do you see that?
Yeah, it's a difference. You had these kids have so much now. They have better equipment. They have facilities. You know, when I was coaching, I remember with the integrated program, and then I moved Alexandria into the Fairfax County Youth Football League.
Right.
Okay, so that afforded us, the kids in Alexandria, an opportunity to play. So, because if a kid didn't make the weight, if a kid was over 100 pounds, he didn't have no way to play.
Right.
Yeah.
So we lost a lot of kids that couldn't play because they couldn't make it. But when we moved into the county, they had a weight class all the way up to 150 pounds.
Okay.
So that afforded more. When I moved into the sports section, there was 6 teams in Alexandria. And over a few years, I moved it up. And when I moved them into county, we had 14 football teams.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
But I looked at some of these other teams. These coaches were taking kids to gyms.
Yeah.
They were getting them at saunas to get them weight down
Yeah,
and all kinds
yeah.
of stuff. You know, so these
Putting them
guys had,
sweat, them suits on them.
hey, they taking them down. They taking them to the place, the gyms and stuff
Yeah.
to work. You know,
Yeah, we didn't have it. We had
Well,
what
you
you
gotta
was
do-
talking about.
Yeah.
we had a trash bag.
Yeah, trash bag. Yeah.
Like the guy said, run around, put that plastic on. You want to lose some weight.
Yeah.
And look, we used to do that, and it's funny you said that. We used to wear that all the way up until the weigh-in.
Get
Yeah.
that weight off.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference in the kids now, you know. And you got some good athletes now, but they have better conditioning, better programs.
But
that's key. They
yeah,
do.
but when you really think about it, like he said, because looking back on back then, we didn't have anything. We didn't. I mean, I remember in my household we had one television, so it was one television. I remember seeing the colored television come out. We were just talking about that. So Lucky and the individuals who were coaching us, all we had was what they gave us. What they gave us, you know, to put with it and instill in ourselves. The kids today don't have those opportunities to get that. They spoiled.
Yeah,
they think that everything can be given to them.
Well,
They
it's the
don't-
parents.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's the parents, but we talking a couple of generations. What they were doing for us, like I said, and even for him, Lucky, you have to know again what you gave us then carried on, and we are the product of him. There's many of us that's right now.
Yeah.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but a lot of what I got from Generation Q because I go to the community. I'm able to talk to the kids. I'm able to give them something. But this is what I'm mimicking what you did and how you instilled those things and many other gentlemen like yourself. Again, it's just an honor and for us to be able to sit here and talk with you.
Yeah.
And then, and in my head, I was sitting here, I'm just thinking, you, when we talking about some of the things, and I didn't want to get it away because I don't want nobody to do this, but you are a movie itself.
Mm.
You are.
Oh, I'm glad. That's a segue. Check this out. Y'all seen Remember the Titans? A lot of this that you seen from Remember the Titans, like the way they warmed up, the chants and all that stuff. It came from
You
Lucky.
came from Lucky.
It came from Lucky.
Yeah.
We know that because we from that
Right.
community.
And we had to talk about that. I actually, when the movie came out, your name on many times when they was talking about T.C. Williams, your name come up. Say, man, y'all wanted to see some real football. Y'all needed to see the little league that Lucky Elliott coached.
Who on that team did you coach?
Well, Petey Jones.
Petey, of course, yeah.
Petey, of course. But,
Yeah.
the other guys they were right when I moved uptown to coach Charles Houston.
Okay, so it's right
That
at
was
that time.
right at that time.
Yeah.
And true story, I was coaching the basketball team. Petey was one, Ricky Brooks, a couple other guys
Okay.
that were basketball players.
Yeah.
And my basketball team, half of them disappeared. I said, what happened? Where the guys? So the guys said they going to the boys club. They got new uniforms.
Oh,
They
okay.
got uniforms.
Okay.
I said they got uniforms. Because see, when we started playing basketball, you didn't have uniform. You got a t-shirt.
Right.
And you had to have your own shorts. You know, guys
Right.
who cut
You
your
had to get your own
pants,
shorts.
cut your own pants up or whatever to get some shorts.
Yeah.
So what happened, and I think y'all
Good
we mentioned a few minutes ago, those guys would have been the starters, but the guys who were on the bench moved in to become starters.
Okay.
The Bernard Hunter, the one they called Dirty Junior,
Yeah.
those guys, and Bucky Thompson and all those guys moved up,
Right.
and so
I
that was the
seen a picture
basketball
of
team.
that team. That's what I asked you about,
And
brother.
they didn't look back.
Yeah. How good was Eric Napper?
Eric Napper, let me just say that Eric Napper was a real smart ball player.
Okay.
Real intelligent. Eric is a kid that I could use in any position on the field.
Okay.
He would volunteer. Oh, you need a center? I'll center.
Right.
You need somebody to punt? I'll punt it or
Okay.
kick it. You know,
Okay.
he played quarterback. As a matter of fact, I think it was a championship game. He was a quarterback. But he had to step in to be quarterback in the championship game.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it.
Yep.
That's one of my uncle friends too.
Okay.
So did you ever have Greg and Lil Willie on the same team that
No.
you coached?
Mm-mm.
Now, I just want to say this. I was at a game one time, and Lil Willie and Greg Harris,
Oh, Craig.
Craig,
Yeah.
and they were. I was just at awe at the talent of these guys.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. Those guys started playing ball like 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
Look, we
You know,
played out in Court Kelly.
Look, I ran the Alexandria JCs. I was part of that. They had the free throw contest, and we had the trophy. The JCs put a trophy. The trophy was bigger than Lil Willie. He won the trophy shooting free throws.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm talking about they were like under 10 then.
Yeah.
Craig, Little Willie, Frank Holloway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys were playing rec league ball in the 10 and under and 9 and under league,
Yeah.
and they played Core Kelly and Charles Hughes all the way up
Yeah.
Yeah.
through high school. So then they ended up on the same
Same
team
team.
together. They had been playing against
Yes,
each
yes,
other for
yes,
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they gelled and hey,
Easy,
you,
yeah.
you,
It was
you had
amazing.
chemistry.
Yes.
Would you say because that's kind of when I started really watching them because I never really saw Jackson play in his prime. I saw him play when he came back, but like for me in basketball in Alexandria, that '77 team was probably the best that I've ever seen. How would you compare them to other teams?
Well, I think that they had one other team
That's what I heard.
that was probably a better team.
Yeah.
That was the team with Carl Turner
Yeah.
and Carl Jackson.
Yeah.
They had so many talented ball players on that team.
What year
The
was
team,
that, you know?
the bench was loaded.
Yeah.
They had guys on the bench that was loaded.
Was Conti on that team?
No,
Conti wasn't on that?
it was McAdoo, I think Boswell.
Us, well. Was my cousin on that team? Greg's Piggies.
No, Piggies was on another team. He wasn't on that team with McAdoo and those guys. But Carl Turner, Darryl Turner,
Yeah, called.
Gary Peterson,
Yeah.
Biddy.
Did-
Oh yeah,
Biddy
Biddy.
Peterson. They
Oh
light it
man.
up. They
Yeah,
light it up.
I remember
Yeah.
Biddy when watching him back
Yeah.
in the day. He was a beast on the
Yeah,
court.
he would light it up.
They
You know what I'm saying?
didn't have the same chemistry as that '77 team.
Right, that was the difference.
They were a better team.
The
you said.
chemistry, I think that might have been a better team, but they had the
The
chemistry.
chemistry, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they had the leadership.
Willie.
They had the enforcer with Frank
Frank.
and Tree, the
Yeah.
big boys, and then Boo Richardson,
Who was
who
the
was
trash
the
man.
trash man, could clean
Yeah.
up, he could
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah.
So I think it was the chemistry there.
Yeah.
Like Craig was shooting from half court. I used to go to the game. I was
Yeah.
a little kid. When they come and Willie, he sacrificed his scoring.
Yeah.
That was big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie would come back, dribble the court. He was the first manager before Magic.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
a wizard.
And then he would throw the ball back to Craig. Craig come across, step across half court, win 3 pointers.
Yeah.
Craig Harris would have averaged 50 points easy.
Yeah,
every
yes.
3
So,
points.
Yes.
so you know that team averaged in the '80s for like the year, and that was before the 3-point.
Right.
So just
Yeah,
imagine
before the 3
they would have broke every Virginia record ever. It would never been even come close.
That's what I was saying.
Because
Before the
them dudes
3
would step across court. Like when I tell you step across court,
What we
they
say?
was firing from stepping across the court.
This
Yeah.
started with Charles Houston too.
Mhm.
This started with Lucky too. Watch this, Lucky. When he shoot the jumper, when we shoot the jumper, everybody just said, "Ooh."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
together, the whole gym.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the. Did you go to many of those games?
Yeah, I was going to.
You was going to?
quite a
Okay.
few of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I didn't
I
even know he
bet-
was watching me. Like when I played, like I said, I didn't play physically for him, but he knew who I was. Y'all don't get this. This is big. He knew who I was. He was like, boo. That meant a lot to me. Because I don't think he probably go-go and all of that. So, I mean, he knew who I was as a kid.
Well, we could talk about go-go here in a minute if
Uh-oh.
y'all want.
Uh-oh.
Because I got some lucky stories about go-go.
Yeah, he talked about, yeah. And see, and we want to bring this up on that note. Me and Elwood did an interview a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's going to air on the 31st. And one reason I had Elwood here because Elwood within himself, he don't get himself credit. I don't know. He can't take it like Lucky is mature with it.
Yeah.
Like he's smart as, but Elwood don't want to take it sometimes. He be like, I don't think I deserve it. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But so Elwood is now check this out. He is the godfather of Virginia Go-Go.
Okay.
I ain't say Alexandria Go-Go. I said Virginia Go-Go. No band played from Virginia had a band. This guy is the originator of the first go-go band in Virginia, the state. See, when you people from DC say Virginia, they be talking about across the bridge, that little part right there in Northern Virginia. We talking about the state of Virginia had no go-go.
Yeah. So on that note though, I got a little bone to pick with you. No, I'm just joking. But so when we started the band, Boo helped me with the dates and stuff. But I know 80 for sure.
Okay.
80 for sure.
It had to be.
It was 80 for sure because we did one of our first things that we ever did was at Cameron Valley. We were supposed to do it at the rec. And ended up doing it on the outside, so that was the rec. So one of the things that I wanted to do was, hey, how can we get kids that are on the streets into a space where they're not out doing crazy stuff, And so really, Ovation Band really started on that premise. So they had a meeting. Larry Brown had a meeting down at Lee, and the people I remember being there was, I think you was there. It was. Travis was there, Jackie, Mason, Jessica, there's a couple other people. And the question is, can we have a go-go in these rec centers? Right, that was the question.
So that's how it merged
That's
into sports and music.
Yeah, so that's one of the movement for Virginia Go-Go was really the rec centers.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we first
That's
played.
when we first played.
We
had
played
our shows was in the rec
If we
center.
wasn't playing on the block parties,
It was the rec
it
center.
was at the rec center, and so one of the shows that I remember at Charles Houston, I think we played a couple times down there, but one was with Peacemakers came down there. But lucky, I always wanted to ask you this because we played a lot at Mount Vernon. Remember Mount Vernon when it was on the
No,
stilts?
that's Court Kelly.
Court Kelly,
It
I meant
was
to say.
on the stilts.
It was on the stilts. We be playing up there,
And
and
it be
literally, it'd be
It rocking. That's what it look. It rocks.
It'd be rocking up there.
The stage.
No, the gym.
The gym.
The whole
The
gym.
floor.
The whole floor.
It was on real
stilts.
It
stilts.
was on
Oh,
stilts.
wow.
Ain't that crazy?
Oh no.
Hey, listen,
Talking
and
about
then
100
listen, and listen,
Had to walk
the
up all
going
these steps to
steps,
get up there.
it was iron.
It was
The
iron.
steps were made of iron
Crazy.
and went around.
Fire escape or something.
And kids used to go up them steps and run down them steps.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
so that's how much influence y'all had. You don't even know it. Y'all had even on Virginia Go-Go. Allowing us to play into those spaces.
Well, I started, and I think it was Ovation.
Yep.
That's
that was
it.
our bad.
Ovation,
That was
and
my
then
bad. Shady Groove was the other band.
no, the other one,
Rations.
Ranson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always laugh when I think about this.
Yeah.
You have to put in a request
Yep.
for the bands and stuff. So I put in a request, send the paperwork in the director. Everybody had to sign off on it. So I had Trouble. I had the band Trouble Funk,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I had printed it out Trouble Funk.
Right.
The director and everybody was trying to find me. Somebody find Lucky.
Yeah.
He's got a band called Trouble coming
Yeah.
to the rec
Yeah,
center.
don't be so trouble.
They were looking for me all over town, man. I said, get him quick.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
a band called trouble
What
coming
I-
to the rec center.
What I always felt, tell me if this is true or not, I always felt like you were wanted to be real careful about the bands being in there so that it doesn't ruin the reputation of the rec or what you were trying to do, or you were getting pressure from the city.
Well, see, you know, one of the things is, I remember having a band in one of those groups in there. It was so many people in there, you couldn't move.
Yeah,
It was packed in there. We didn't take head counts as was coming in. After that, we started to, take that head
Yeah.
count and stuff.
yeah,
And then we had to get,
the,
and then,
yeah.
I was real close with Herman Springs. I don't know if y'all know
Oh
that
yeah, I
name.
remember Street. That's my man. Yeah,
Herman Springs would, when I suspend somebody from the rec center,
yeah,
I call Herman Springs.
yeah,
And I'd give him a letter, and he take it to their house and knock on the door about 4 a.m.
Yeah.
or 5 o'clock in the morning
yeah,
to let them know they're suspended. So he said, no, you don't have to worry about their parents. I woke them all up.
yeah,
He gave them the police knock and
Yeah.
give you a suspension letter. So you
Yeah.
ain't got to worry about them coming back.
yeah,
He said, everybody in that house, man.
Yeah.
Woke up everybody. But Springs used to help me, so when I
Yeah.
had dances, and this is a true story, we had a packed house. Everybody came in that door. When they came in, I had a little lobby to the right. We had paper on the windows and stuff. We
Right.
bring them in. Everybody that came in, they had to come over my lobby. Herman Springs patted them, searched
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
that came in.
yeah,
We had a whole sink full of liquor bottles, beer,
Oh, man.
yeah,
reefer. He had everything.
yeah,
And they didn't want to get searched. Go back
back
out.
out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
that-
was
that-
catching, bring them in real quick.
Yeah.
They didn't have no choice. He got to bring them in the little reception.
I want to personally thank you because the way Larry Brown, you remember Larry Brown,
Mhm.
pitched this to me, that it had to be voted upon by the rec leaders, the rec directors, of whether we could play in these rec centers or not. And then that opened up the door for us to be able to play at Lee and all, court.
Yeah, I think that, pretty much the center directors wanted to have that outlet for the kids.
Yeah.
They wanted to get kids in off the streets.
It was a little bit of a money maker
Yeah.
too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it made money.
Yeah.
It made money. You had to be able to pay the band and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I know we had a couple promoters. I had one at one time that the band was hanging around after we the staff had cleaned up and ready to close out. They
Right.
said they were waiting for their money.
Right.
So I said, your promoter or whoever is supposed to pay.
Right.
So I didn't know that. This guy was shyster anyway.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
And they
he was
were-
gone, so they told me they weren't leaving until they got their money. I said, oh yeah, you're gonna leave, you're in Alexandria. You say when I get on this phone, I see the Alexandria police come up in there, you going out of here. So they didn't take long,
So
they got
promoters-
us,
so the
they
promoters
packed them
stiffed
quick.
them.
Huh?
So the promoter stiffed the
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they knew who, they've been dealing with him all the time, so they knew who it was. He left early.
Yeah.
So this has been going on for a long time.
He left early. So
How much did y'all charge?
I
I
remember.
think what did they charge, about a buck and a
So-
half or something? It wasn't a whole
so
lot.
it went from $1 to $3 to I think at the most was like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can go to places like and get 6 bands back then, for like $5 or $8 at
Yeah.
most. So you can get like the Coliseum in DC.
Yeah.
You get about 5-6 bands,
Yeah.
and you ain't pay over $10.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
you know when you really think about everything that we talked about and it's really sad for the youth today that they don't have the opportunity to experience what we had.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that was personal,
Yeah.
and it was life changing. I sit here because me personally, I left home at a young age, went in the military. I watched all these things throughout the street, and I carried it with me.
Yeah.
And when I came home, I hear people talking about it, but I also picked up from what y'all gave me and many others. I did the same thing. I came home and started a small production company. I was over at the Court County Recreation Center for almost 3 years. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, I had the kids coming in there, and I was doing the showcasing at the auditorium, putting on shows, and again, these things I got from individuals like yourself, that I just kind of like it was a chip off the shoulder. You know, I communicated with the kids, let them know that they had a purpose, and these are the things that y'all gave us, many of us, and we stand on that.
But look, you can't get out of this one though. I asked you earlier, you said save it for later. So we
Yes,
had that much
earlier.
time. In the show, I said, how did you come to picking the people that would succeed you, like Bill, Richard, Pee Wee? How did you you know, because like, you had to pick a certain type of person you wanted to be in your circle.
No, I think Richard,
So
Richard kind of inherited the position.
Okay.
And I think Richard did more to me Bell than I did.
Okay,
You know, and I
okay.
did Pee Wee Banks,
Okay.
and you know, Pee Wee I kind of twisted his arm, I guess, to got him to
But why
take
did you
Pee
pick
Wee.
these people though?
Huh?
I just want to know why you picked
Well,
them.
Pee Wee was always around, you know,
Okay.
and
But you
I
had to
thought
see
he had
something.
that type of personality.
Okay.
He
Trusted
could do it.
him.
He wasn't comfortable with coaching the football team, and I
Mm.
told him I would help him, you know, give him that guidance, and I did the playbook that they talk about. I sat down, sketched up a playbook, several pages of plays and stuff that,
They
I had to
understood
do
your
it.
formula.
huh?
They understood your formula.
And so it never changed. From day one I was coaching, I ran the same plays. Left down. You can run the same plays and you can change up the formation, the way the guys lined up, but it'll be the same play. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And
You
told
can
me
run
that-
you can run the same play whether you run it from a T formation, split T, wishbone, I formation, you know, pro set, whatever you want to do, you can run the same play. Just
So
give it to this
you
one
told
person.
me,
run
how
the ball.
did you come up with that formula? How did you come? You told me.
I'm just watching. I mean, watching TV. I used to binge on college football, and why everybody watches the ball. I watch everything but the ball. I watch what the individual players are doing.
Right.
I watch what the line's doing, what the end's doing, and so I'm studying each play they go out, each down. I'm watching the individual player and seeing how they blocking, what they're doing, their techniques, and the certain plays they run. And I just started to, you know, put my own plays down and making it simple for a kid to understand. You don't want to come up with a whole bunch of, you get the huddle and say a whole bunch of stuff, and the kids like, half the kids don't know what you're doing. So I made the plays simple, and so that all of them could understand it.
Yeah.
And every practice, we walk through the plays. We didn't just go out and run plays. We walked through it, slow motion, whatever. But and so everybody knew what was going on. The line would see what the backs are doing, and you know, the backs know where the line is supposed to be blocking. So everybody understood what was going on. It was basic, simple, year after year after year, and so the kids didn't have to worry about learning something new this year. They just had to get in shape. They just had to get in shape, and they're ready to play because they already know the plays.
But it
I've
was the
had
practice.
people on the sideline, kids I had coached 2 years ago. They were talking back and watch. He's going to call such and such a play because that's where the ball is. They know where the ball is
Right.
positioned on the field.
Right.
Oh, he's going to run the sweep now. And I can hear him over here.
Yeah.
If they were on the other side of the field, they could tell them all my plays. You know?
That's what I'm gonna say. Were you ever afraid that coaches would then study? Because I'm sure coaches study each other.
They always say that.
They couldn't
But the
stop
problem
They
is,
couldn't stop. Tell 'em.
you can know I'm walking out that door every day, but stopping me is another thing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna run right over
Yeah.
this guy right
Yeah.
there. We coming right there.
Yeah.
So you know where I'm
Yeah,
coming,
coming.
but stopping
Yeah,
it is
stop.
another thing.
Right. How
So
about
we
that?
don't worry about if they know the play. We can give them the playbook.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna help them.
Right.
Ain't gonna help.
That's not gonna help 'em.
But
Because
that's
it was
again.
executed.
Yeah.
It was executed.
It's
So
execution.
it was executed.
And it takes this, too.
Lucky being honest, right? because I don't, now, I always think back. He's being very, very modest, y'all. He said, and it was simple if you knew it. But for a person who wasn't in that system, it was very complicated. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Lucky told me this. He said, I retain because I've come up under these guys. So you retain stuff. He said he ran misdirections because kids could not pick up. Then what you told me? He said he ran misdirection. Everything was a misdirection.
Yeah, because everybody watch the ball. They see the ball going. They think the man has got the ball going this way, but he's going this way.
Yeah.
It's a misdirection. You're faking it this way, and you come back the other way.
Or sometimes you
Or
give it to
or sometimes you give it to the first guy and then fake it
but
to
you
the
still do your
so
fake.
the guy don't know what to play.
So most of your plays was misdirection, even though if you know it's coming, but you still play the misdirection out.
But you don't know who got it.
Yeah.
I played against them in 80 pounds.
Yeah.
I played against that system, but yet though I knew it. That's here's the thing. I grew up, like I told you, I come from 3 generations of Charles Houston people. So I knew all the plays. When I played Patrick Henry, my 85 pounds, I played linebacker and tailback. And I would tell them, I said, man, they set up right there. It's either coming to, I can't tell you where it's coming. Because in the T formation, it might be a crossbow 44, or it might be a fake crossbow 44 quarterback keeper. It could be anything. Crossbow 33, or it could be a 22 slide. It could be anything from that formation. So for a person that don't know, it's not gonna be easy to stop.
Yeah.
And not only that, as kids, this is very important. The line had assignment. See, I played with Patrick Henry, and the line just say block. Block who in front of you.
Right.
Charles Houston line had assignment for
Right.
every play.
Right. That is
And
it.
and timing and precision was in every play.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If I'm the running back, and I ain't even get to play running back with Charles Houston, because they had so many running backs. I played in and linebacker, right? So, but here's what I know. Like Lucky said, to give credence to what he was talking about. The running back had to take a pivot back sometime. The line might have to cross block on certain plays. So the precision for you not to run up that lineman's back, it was like this. Pop, 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 pop. These kids.
Yeah.
But it was simple to us because we knew the system. And we was brought up on that system so long. And he like he said, he ain't had to change it.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the parents? What was it like when you had the kids under control? Did you have much resistance? Did you have a lot of resistance from the parents?
You know, I have never had a problem with any parent. Never in my life. And you know, I try to treat all the kids and be fine with the kids. Now, I know when you coach a lot of kids, and some kids play more than the others. Some kids might on the bench and they not get a lot of things.
I think it's favoritism.
Yeah, well, no, not as much. Cause I didn't have parents a big base of parents when I was coaching, and that went for years. That went for years. I think in the, going down in the latter years, I started getting parents.
Right.
And some of their kids have been playing for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then when they started winning like those championship games,
Yeah.
and
Then they
you know,
come
I
out.
had people from one end of the goal line to the other, wall to wall people at the championship game. You know,
Right.
and parents started following the games and stuff more and more, and people started helping out with transporting the kids and stuff like that. You know,
The community stepped in
Yeah,
after
it's,
winning.
you know.
After winning on a consistent
You know.
basis.
So
Yeah.
did
But I never had any problem with any parent.
did you have as you started to win, and I'm talking, and I don't want it to be a racial topic, but I'm saying, how did the white coaches and referees, when they saw, after they saw your skills, how did they treat you as an individual?
Well, like I said, I told my kids, if the game is close, you're not gonna win. They do that. They would say that. So they would buckle down if
Right.
the game was tight. They would really play hard then, because they know that you don't know what these officials are going to throw the flag or whatever, or blow the whistle or whatever. So, you know, you got to understand that the racism is there.
Yeah.
It's there. You can, you know, it was there. And I think that what happened in the latter years, we had a couple of officials that grew up in the black community, John Roberts and stuff, that
Like
played
that,
with
yeah.
a lot of black kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And they straightened out a lot of the crowds that the white,
Yeah.
the parents that were getting on them, and they gave it back to them. You know, they playing football. You know,
You need to stop.
and so I think that broke up a lot of things with several officials that understood the game and understood what was going on out there.
It was another thing that I noticed too, even in the short time with me playing up under you, you never talked about, made it a racial issue. You never made it look like, okay, we black and they white and we got to do this. It was all about us as a team. It was all about the individual purpose of the structure of the game.
Right.
You never ever talked to us, at least
Because y'all were children, and those are adults. Unfortunately,
but
they're
see,
in
for
situations.
that's again, you got to
that was he was protecting y'all. If
right.
anything.
That's what I'm saying. You was actually all the time. You was really protective of all of us, not just as at the level of the sport, but I'm talking about as individuals, because we never came out there with that intention of starting trouble or fighting and stuff like that. It was
It's integrity.
right. It was integrity,
Yeah.
and you instilled that. I mean, that was what I'm sure that every person that played up under you left and grew up with that.
How did you handle so much talent? I've always wanted to ask this question. So when you got 6 people on your team, all could start at running back, but you only got 2. But you only got 2 spots. Back then it was mainly fullback, running back, but you
ran 3-man backfield.
Well, yeah.
Well, what you do,
That's right.
you try to rotate them as much as you can.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could take kids that played line and put them in the backfield.
Right.
So on occasion, and when we were playing games that we were winning or something, I would take some of those kids that played line and let them run the ball.
Right.
So you might have been the lineman, but now you can put you in the backfield.
Yeah.
And so
Favorite, your best quarterback ever. I'm sorry.
that's a pretty hard.
I know. I didn't mean to put it
because
like
it was so many. It was so many guys.
Give us a couple of them though. A couple good, really good ones for you.
Good quarterback. Oh, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you remember everybody's name.
Yeah, let me ask you this. My cousin, how about my cousin Michael Shepard?
If you had him,
Yeah.
if you had him, like I said earlier, I started with him in like late July or August when football practice started, and they played football through November, and then they started playing basketball until March. So they're with me every evening, 3-4 times a week, on the Saturday, for X number of years, over 20 years, I worked every Saturday.
Yeah.
I had a game. I was trying to get my games in the morning. I think people did it on purpose. They'd move my game to the 1 o'clock where I couldn't get up TC Wins to see the other guys play.
Yeah.
But so I was trying to juggle to see the kids play that I had coached for so many years.
Well, he mentioned one of your cousins when you wasn't in here. And what was the
Ricky,
shepherd?
you just
Ricky.
asked about Michael.
No, Ricky.
Michael played in for me.
Okay.
And Michael was a real good ball player. He was smart, real quiet, laid back, and a real good basketball player. He played with my nephew Marvin at Bishop Island.
Right.
And they
That's
took
right.
that team to the championship in the Catholic League.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mike got a scholarship to Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Marvin was like this.
And Sean played with me.
Yes.
And Sean was a great athlete, played
And
tennis,
Mike
basketball.
was a hitter too. He could hit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Real good guy. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that came out of that community, like you said earlier. Delton just passed away the other day, you know.
Yeah.
But the Jackson family was very talented. I mean, we talk about Little Willie, but man, all the Jackson boys could play sports, man. All of them, Cracker Jack all the way down to Chubby, Preston.
Yeah.
Delton could play. I mean, a lot of they could play, man, and they could play more than just football. So the community was full of a lot of talented people, man.
I got one. I gotta ask this because this is a good friend of mine. So you remember obviously the Major family, Majors.
Mm-hmm.
Who? So Gene, Jay. I know Jay played for you. Vic. They had an older cousin. I can't remember his name, but do you remember them, the Majors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one? Jimmy.
Hey, that's amazing, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah, I adopted him.
You adopted Jimmy Major.
He lived with me from the time he was 12.
Somebody
Yeah,
told me that.
somebody
Somebody just told me
wait,
that.
they was talking about, somebody mentioned that down at the event that.
Y'all see that? That's greatness.
But I want.
His family, well, mother passed.
Right.
Father left.
Y'all hear that?
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of them. They started.
We don't need to brush over that.
So how, he was really good.
Really good.
Really good.
He was there. A lot of the guys will say he's the best that came through youth league, the 10 and under, 12 and under.
Okay.
Was it basketball or
Basketball.
Basketball.
Okay.
How good was Jay?
Jay?
Yeah.
Jay was a good ball player, but you know he was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't start off.
Yeah.
As he got older,
He got
his
good.
game got. But see, you know, he has the genes.
Yeah. Say it again.
He has the genes.
He has the genes.
His father.
His father could shoot.
His father was ahead of his time.
Come on, man.
Yes, sir.
That's what we all know.
I used to watch his father when I was young, and he come out, you know, as he was an older guy, and
Yeah.
I listened to guys talk about him, and I watched him on play. You know, he'd come out on the court by himself
Oh
and
yeah.
shoot around.
Oh yeah. I
And
remember.
the guys was telling me, say, man, this guy, and you know, it was a bunch of the older guys, the Majors guy,
Right.
the Hughes boys, the Harold,
Yeah,
Ryan,
Harold.
their father,
Yeah.
the Thompson boy father,
Yeah.
Christian Bunny
Bunny,
Thompson.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of guys. They worked at the furniture store,
Yeah,
Hopkins
yeah.
or something.
My
Yeah.
uncle,
They would come down to Berg and blow the horn and tell me, come on out and get your guys, and they would play us.
Oh yeah.
All these old guys would play us.
Let me ask you
We
this,
would-
Lucky, on that note. My uncle just passed not too long ago, which is Bunny's brother, right? Tommy's father, William Thompson.
Yeah.
And at the funeral on the you know, the paper for the funeral.
Yeah, program.
The program, yeah. See, you get brains. But anyway, Earl Lloyd had a statement on it. You heard about that, right? He said Earl Lloyd is the first black basketball player who ever played in an NBA game.
Right.
He's from Alexandria.
Right.
But Earl Lloyd made a statement because they asked him that question. They said, "Who's the greatest athlete you ever seen?" And he, at the time, he said, "My uncle." He said, "My uncle, William Thompson." He said he was a phenomenal athlete. He
Okay.
was probably one of the greatest of sport or whatever. He just talking about athletic,
Yeah.
and that was in their age during Lucky them time, and they were older than you, right? Like,
Right. Mhm.
So but
Yeah.
they were some great athletes. Come out of Alexandria then.
Yeah, that was William Thompson was a class act. It was dream. There was a dream team. He was on one of those dream teams.
With Lloyd, right?
He was on the team that went to the Negro
Okay.
championship for the United
Right.
States, whatever. But that Parker Gray team that he was on,
Yeah.
they I don't know how many games they won. They won the state 3 times.
Wow.
In a row, 3 times in a
Yeah.
row.
Yeah.
So I will also ask you this, being that you from Alexandria and everything, does it really bother you with the development of it right now and seeing
When you say development,
as
how?
because it's
what?
I mean, we don't have our history set out for us to really go back other than little tiny things. I can only imagine because of what you contributed to the youth and the community. I'm just saying, how do you feel? Do you feel like that they robbed us from our history? Because like at the Charles Houston Recreation Center right now, I mean, it's not like it used to be. You know, you don't even hardly see that many kids.
Well, like
No.
gentrification, like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what's happening, and it's unfortunate, but you know, I've traveled around different places in the country, and it's the same thing going on everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, unfortunately, we're getting educated now, and we're starting to understand generational wealth, how to own, to accumulate property and wealth, and to be able to pass something down to our kids. When you start talking about legacy, leave them something that they can pass on.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about legacy. It's about, you know, sharing and passing information on to make people's lives better. You know, when you look at, like we said earlier, each one help one. You know, and you think about Alexander, the city, and how you know, all of these $1 million homes, and they're making it it's unaffordable
Right.
for you know, the average person, the middle class is you know. And I can know and say about 20 years ago,
Yeah.
I can remember on Kennedy Street at McDonald's, talking to the guys that would go there at breakfast in the morning. They were sitting in there one morning, I went in there, and they were trying to count on their hands how many black people that own their house from the Bird all the way up to Buchanan Street.
Wow.
And that's 20 years ago.
Wow.
They were trying to name the black people that own their own houses
Yeah.
from the Bird all the way uptown,
And when we were
all the way
kids,
across town. So
and when we was kids, that was a norm.
Yeah.
When we was kids, that was a norm.
well, people were living there.
They were
They're
living.
owning.
They didn't.
Oh,
no,
It was different.
Yeah,
It was
they were
different.
living.
A lot of that's what a lot of people did not
Yeah.
know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't
People
know.
were living in the houses for
But-
30 years,
Right.
and they
Nobody
were still
knew.
renting.
Yeah.
Still written.
Well,
Yeah.
And then
You're right, love.
and then the people who bought houses, the issue was
So-
because of taxes rising. So now that's hard. But then another thing, if people started coming in and say, look, I'm gonna give you more for your house than it's even worth right now. That's the play, because I know people that
To get
happen
them out.
to get them out, right? So I'll buy your
So
house
you
know,
way above the market.
Yeah, but see, you had to have some information to
Right.
make that kind of.
Yes.
So we don't go downtown and look at the 10-year
Thank you.
plan and the 20-year plan. And see, I had to set the meetings, and I told people when I was at Charles Houston, with the projects were going. Here, I said they're gonna knock them all down when they put this rec center there. You know, and they've got plans right now. They showed about the new projects uptown. You can go there and see the plans.
They're not making the changes for y'all, they're making the changes for
Right.
them.
And the metro is key. In
That's
those
right.
areas where metro property around
Yeah,
metro
I'll take it,
stops.
yeah.
So I just saw that, just recently, remember the light, the right there by Blue and White. Remember
The store, yeah,
Yeah,
it's on Pickett Street.
oh,
The
they
new
moved.
building. It's right on the corner.
Oh, they moved it.
Yes, right there
it's
down
on
from
Pickett,
Mercedes
okay.
Benz.
Okay.
What they
Right
move?
there, pick-
What they move?
They got a big place right on the corner, right there, Pickett Street.
Really?
You know,
But you got to think about
and SO Road.
that's
They
what they
moved.
could, what
They
they
didn't
probably
move
get ready to
Blue
do
and
right
White
there.
yet.
No.
They gonna
the
raise
place
that
was-
and put some more town out.
They're gonna put some more townhouses. I called somebody 2-3 days ago when I was riding through there, and I was talking to them, and I said, bruh, you ain't gonna believe this. I said, what's happening here is like, it's just blowing my mind. And I said, they moved the light store, and they flattened it out. And I said, and then you seeing how they open it up, you can look at it, and I said, you know what, they get ready to put some more townhouses or
Yeah.
high rises, something right there.
Yeah.
But with the plan of this area for Old Town, I'm telling you, it ain't for us.
Okay,
Right.
and we know this. This is some good barbershop talk, because we know this, right? Now here's what the importance of legacy, what this whole show is about, comes in. Where we got this footage right here. We talking about this man in set groups, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things that they understand that we don't understand as a people. That like me and my wife went on a trip, and it's an old barn. I always use this story. Like, there's an old barn on this road. We're going to the Poconos, and I said, babe, why do you think they don't tear that barn down? She said, I don't know, because it's raggedy. It should be torn down. Just sitting over here in the middle of nowhere, raggedy barn. I said, because they understand the importance of history. They understand the importance of legacy. They can take their great-great-great-great-grandchildren and go to that old barn and say, this is what me and your mom and them used to play in this barn, right?
And they own it.
And they own it. But
And
the hit is the legacy of it. The legacy is something about legacy.
Yeah, that's true.
That empowers the people.
Yeah.
See,
Absolutely.
what we don't understand is what they don't want us to have is hope.
Well, I can tell you this. If you don't know where you came from,
Yeah.
it's hard to know where you're going.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when you talk about, you know, when I tell you, and I always tell guys, that when I was living in the Bay Area, and anybody that came down there, I could walk across the street. The projects are still there. The two houses that I lived in the projects in the Burg, they raised the 2 blocks of projects, but the 2 blocks that are still down there,
Yeah.
I lived in both of those blocks.
Yeah.
Princess Street and Pendleton Street,
Yeah.
305,
Yeah.
306. When I told people, I said, we had 4 bedrooms. People like, 4 bedrooms in the project? Yeah, 4 bedrooms in the project, 306 Pendleton Street. We could walk across the street. Across the street from the project,
Yeah.
they had the big Texaco tanks.
Mhm.
What they had, what they called the creek.
Mhm.
You could see anything that went down the toilet, going down, back out into the Potomac.
To the Potomac.
Right across the street from where we were. Where the Bogle
Oh,
chemical
wow.
companies, it was 2
Yeah.
chemical companies
Yeah.
there, the Texaco Oil Company,
Yeah.
yeah.
Norton Bone and Fat, which the guys used to joke about the people in the Bird, because you could smell it in the summertime all the way up to Henry Street, Route
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
And we had the fertilizer mill.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the stuff would be in the air. It would almost take your breath away.
That's toxic.
I
You
actually,
know,
I remember.
The fertilizer mill,
Yeah.
this stuff. And I used to see these black men, it was only a block from my house, come up the street from the fertilizer mill. They were covered, looked like somebody beat them with flour. And the smell, you know, and they would go to the carry out and stuff to eat. But they lived a block away in what they call the bunkhouse. And as a kid, we would go down there and open the door and take your breath away.
Oh,
And
wow.
all it was a whole bunch of bunks in the bunkhouse. And the fertilizer mill was right there on both sides of the street, big old places. And we always joked about the people in the Burg should be able to stay there forever. You know, just based on that. What you know,
Yeah.
be forcing us out,
Dealing
taking you
with that,
home,
yeah.
dealing with that for all these years.
Yeah.
And luckily, people have, you know, didn't have all kinds of counselors and everything
Yeah.
growing up around that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that was in the
that's
Burg. But now
history.
you go
Didn't know
there,
that.
and
Oh, yeah.
then you got the townhouses. But
Yeah.
what they did, same thing they did in Potomac Yard. They didn't turn over the soil. They just covered the soil up, brought in more dirt, concrete, and then build the houses on top of it.
Top of it, okay.
Because they knew that stuff was, if you started digging up that
Yeah.
dirt, and that stuff would seep up through the,
Yeah.
through the, you know.
Hey, look, we running out of time, and man, this has been informative.
Yes.
And
This
a
was just
very blessed
amazing.
show. This
Yeah,
is
it's
classic,
real.
right? And look, man, love you, man. And
Man, I'm
thank
telling
you for coming out,
Hey,
man.
thank
Taking
you
your
for
time.
inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And
coming
believe
out
it,
there.
believe me, it's a true honor. Again, just to be able to say, tell you personally,
Yeah.
thank you so much for what you've given us. You know, I mean, I'm gonna keep my story alive, and I'm gonna tell y'all, if I can put this book or whatever this movie, I put it together. I'm gonna put it in there that I walked away, but I walked away with a lot of dignity, pride, and respect as an individual moving into the adulthood, and I got a lot of that from you. So thank you so much, man.
So we till next month, last Thursday of the month. We back here at Man in the Mirror, and I think it's Rodney's.
I don't know.
Was it Amy?
Mine's December 1.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So yours next.
Yo, cause look,
Okay, so
after
look.
this right here, I got to dig deep
Okay,
down. Cause
okay. So we take turns here for each month, and this was mine, and I was honored to have Luck here for the first time.
My man.
Yeah,
But hey, well, okay, so I ain't gonna let him steal all that juice, cause
he was trying to get you. Just,
no, I had already talked to him, and I'm going to say this because we do also with Man in the Mirror, we have people to people, and I'm going to ask you to come back because I want to actually put you in another position to really talk about some things. So I hope that you will still honor that invitation. But we want to just say thank you and we appreciate you for everything you give us.
So I'm just blessed to be a part of it. Man, we don't thank Elwood for coming out.
All the time.
He's been an excellent co-host. Thank
you, man. I just ask questions.
Hey,
I don't know. Well, we might have to find another chair, man.
Hey, old Nate couldn't make it today,
Right.
but he's
Much love to
he has a tie with you too, and he wanted you to tell you that him and your son was friends.
Oh, okay.
Nate Jenkins. So he said,
Oh, Nate.
yeah, that's Nate right there.
I hadn't seen him in
Yeah,
years. I don't know what that
he's
is.
part of our host panel. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
couldn't make it tonight, and he
Okay.
said he's saddened because he wanted to sit down and really rap with you.
Oh, okay.
He said you will remember him.
Yeah, I remember Nate.
So
Here we go. It's
That's
Man in the Mirror.
the show
And
that matters.
it's the show that matters. And remember, it's every last Thursday of the month.
But we're gonna have because of the holiday, the next show will be December the 1st. All right, and Amy's gonna bring a Dynamite show to us.
Yeah.
And till then,
Much love and respect. That was an honor. Let me slide.
okay, we gonna have to sign off,
Yeah.
and we making it happen. We making it happen,
Yeah,
yo.
that was cool, man.
Hey, Luck, love you, man.
Yeah.
Once again, can't tell you nothing.
Thank you for answering all my questions, except for the quarterback one. But I knew that was an unfair. That's an unfair question. Hey, I did want to ask you. Did the Steele brothers play for you? The Steeles, Derek and over. They lived over on.
Johnny still in that family? No, not that.
No, not Johnny.